Welcome again to History Facts and Mysteries. Today we are going to talk about the hidden secrets of Rosslyn Chapel. Before we embark on this journey through one of the most enigmatic monuments in Christendom, make sure you subscribe to History Facts and Mysteries. Here we peel back layers of time, uncover hidden codes in stone, and follow the faintest trails of legend to their source. Today, we stand at the threshold of Rosslyn Chapel, a humble Scottish edifice whose modest exterior belies an interior brimming with carved secrets, whispered myths, and tantalizing hints of forbidden knowledge. Tucked away in the rolling hills south of Edinburgh, the chapel's very stones seem to pulse with stories of the Knights Templar, the Holy Grail, pagan rites, and secret brotherhoods. Over the next chapters, you will discover how every pillar, every face, and every cubed note carved into its ceiling weaves a silent narrative, one that has ensnared historians, occultists, and thrill-seekers for centuries. By the end of this deep dive, you may never look at Rosslyn Chapel the same way again. Historical foundations, the Sinclair legacy. Construction of Rosslyn Chapel began in 1446 under the patronage of Sir William St. Clair, 3rd Prince of Orkney and scion of the powerful Sinclair family. Yet William's vision of a simple parish church belies the complexity he wrought in stone. As hereditary Grand Master of Scottish stonemasons, Sir William had access to the finest craftsmen of his day, but he also inherited a lineage steeped in Crusader legend and whispered alliances. The Sinclairs claimed descent from the Norman St. Clair family who fought alongside the Crusaders in the Holy Land, and late medieval chronicles hint at Sinclair participation in the suppression of the Knights Templar, or, more intriguingly, their secret preservation of Templar rites long after the order's official demise. The very choice of Saint Matthew as patron, an apostle and evangelist often depicted carrying a book, may nod toward a scholarly tradition of hidden gospel texts and suppressed lore. Every installment of the chapel, from its ornate doorway to its vaulted arches, was thus conceived not merely as a house of worship, but as a stone-bound testament to a lineage that straddled martial valor, religious authority, and mystical knowledge. Building a monument. Architecture and craftsmanship. Walk through the chapel's arched entrance and you step into a world where no surface is left untouched. Gothic tracery, leafwork, animal motifs, and biblical scenes teem across every wall and pillar. The choice of local red sandstone gave the structure a warm glow in sunlight, yet its density was ideal for the remarkably fine carvings that define Rosslyn's interior. Master masons, whose identities remain largely anonymous, spent decades chiseling 1,100 documented figures into the stone, each one a potential cipher. The design of the chapel itself is a study in sacred geometry. Its proportions echo the sacred ratio of 1 to 1.618, the so-called golden mean, reputed to reflect divine harmony. The layout follows an east-west axis, aligning the altar with the rising sun on the feast of St. Matthew, September 21st, suggesting a solar liturgy intertwined with Christian ritual. Spiral staircases lead to hidden galleries, columns twist like DNA helixes, and a network of gutters and drains beneath the floor hints at alchemical processes, perhaps used to wash newly carved stones in consecrated waters. This combination of technical mastery and symbolic intent suggests that Rosslyn was conceived as both a work of art and an elaborate spiritual machine. The apprentice pillar and Masonic parallels. Arguably the chapel's most famous feature is the so-called apprentice pillar, a serpentine column so exquisitely carved it defies belief. Local lore tells of a jealous master mason who murdered his apprentice upon seeing the flawless work created in his absence. This legend parallels the Masonic tale of Hiram Abiff, the architect of Solomon's Temple, who was slain for safeguarding sacred knowledge. Each turn of the pillar's fluting appears organic, like the growth of a living vine, yet the precision of its geometry betrays an advanced understanding of mathematics and stonecutting. Freemasons point to the pillar as evidence of pre-modern guild rites, suggesting that the Sinclairs wove proto-Masonic teachings into Rosslyn's very fabric. To radically complicate the story, some researchers detect hidden inscriptions within the pillar's grooves, tiny runes and cipher letters that may require ultraviolet light or chemical reagents to fully reveal. Whether these are genuine medieval messages or later apocrypha remains hotly debated, but their mere suggestion amplifies the pillar's mystique. In this section, we'll explore the parallels between the Templars legend and documented Masonic rituals, examine the evidence for concealed inscriptions, and consider what the pillar tells us about knowledge, jealousy, and the price of forbidden mastery. The Green Men and Pagan Echoes. Scattered among the chapel's Christian iconography are over 100 faces known collectively as the Green Men, leaf-fringed visages that emerge from foliage, their expressions at once serene and unsettling. In pre-Christian Europe, green men represented nature's generative force, fertility, and the cyclical rebirth of the earth. Their presence in a 15th-century Christian chapel has long puzzled art historians, who argue it represents a deliberate syncretism, an acknowledgement that even within Christendom, older belief systems retained power. Yet the Sinclairs may also have been signaling a deeper message, one that melded Christian salvation with pagan resurrection myths, hinting at a universal esoteric tradition. Some of the green men at Rosslyn bear unusual features: horn-like protrusions, eyes carved as hollow sockets, mouths framed by intertwining vines, that invite comparisons to Celtic deities and even chthonic spirits. We will trace the iconographic lineage of the green man from classical antiquity through Celtic folklore to medieval church art, and then analyze how Rosslyn's green faces differ from, and elevate, them, creating a coded homage to earth-centered spirituality within a Christian context. Templar connections and Grail legends. Beneath the veneer of medieval piety that Rosslyn Chapel presents to casual observers lies a network of symbols, stories, and architectural cues that many believe point directly to the legacy of the Knights Templar, and most tantalizingly, to the Holy Grail itself. The story often begins with the Sinclairs' reputed ties to the order. After the Templars' dramatic suppression by Pope Clement V in 1312, survivors are said to have fled northward, finding refuge in Scotland under the protection of sympathetic nobles. Some chroniclers even suggest that Sir William Street Clare's own ancestors harbored exiled Templars, preserving their rituals and concealing their sacred relics. At Rosslyn, this hidden inheritance is argued to manifest in a series of carvings interpreted as Templar badges, crosses resembling the patty, knightly helmets, and knightly shields bearing cryptic heraldry. But the true Grail clues, theorists insist, are woven into the very geometry of the chapel. The vaulting patterns echo the eight-pointed cross of St. John, patron saint of the Templars, while the labyrinthine network of pillars can be read as a map to a concealed vault. Within the choir stalls, researchers have pointed to a pattern of carved chalices and reins, some worn, some pristine, as symbolic markers, perhaps denoting steps in a ritual path leading to a hidden chamber. Whether these are genuine Templar signposts or medieval stonemasons' embellishments is impossible to verify without access to the chapel's sealed crypt, but the weight of accumulated lore is immense, compelling visitors to peer into every niche and trace every line in search of the Grail's elusive glow. Crypt secrets and subterranean theories. For centuries, rumors have circulated about what lies beneath Rosslyn Chapel. Early visitors reported hearing hollow sounds when tapping certain areas of the floor, while local lore claimed that secret tunnels once connected the chapel to nearby Sinclair strongholds and to the old parish church at Rosslyn. In the 19th century, antiquarian explorers pried at trapdoors and sluiced water through cracks in search of hidden vaults, only to find damp, empty chambers and puddles of water. More recently, non-invasive technologies, ground-penetrating radar and thermal imaging, have scanned the crypt beneath the sanctuary, revealing voids and anomalies that some interpret as remnants of concealed corridors or alcoves. Enthusiasts propose that these hidden spaces once housed the Knights Templars' treasures, Grail vessels, arcane manuscripts, and even the legendary Sword of Macbeth, a relic rumored to possess supernatural power. Skeptics counter that the natural geology of the area, karstic rock formations and shifting soil, could produce misleading readings, and that many of the reported vaults are simply drainage chambers designed to keep the chapel's foundations dry. Yet the theory persists, fueled by tantalizing anecdotes of muffled voices heard in the crypt at midnight, of candlelit shapes glimpsed through narrow fissures, and of evanescent footsteps echoing in the gloom. Whether these are echoes of human imagination or evidence of genuine subterranean mysteries, they reinforce Rosslyn's reputation as a place where the boundary between the material world and hidden realms dissolves beneath your feet. Freemasonry's symbolic blueprint. Though Freemasonry as an organized fraternity did not emerge until the early 18th century, many of its core symbols and rituals appear presaged in Rosslyn Chapel's design. The twin pillars at the chapel's western entrance recall the Masonic Jachin and Boaz of Solomon's Temple. Checkerboard floor patterns beneath the altar mirror Masonic lodge floors, and the winding, helical columns echo the Masonic, floating tassel, a symbol of spiritual ascent. Freemasons traditionally point to Rosslyn as a key source of their esoteric lore, suggesting that the Sinclair family, in their capacity as hereditary patrons of stonemasons, served as custodians of operative guild traditions that later transformed into speculative masonry. Within the chapel's vaults are scenes that align with the 3 degrees of masonry: the search for knowledge, the numerous scholars and scribes carved into the walls, the ordeal of secrecy, codified in hidden inscriptions and sealed chambers, and the promise of enlightenment, manifested in the chapel's soaring nave and celestial motifs. Taken together, these elements appear to form a symbolic curriculum, guiding initiates from ignorance to illumination through architectural metaphors. Whether this blueprint was consciously intended by Sir William St. Clair, who may well have imbibed Templar and Hermetic teachings, or whether it represents the instinctive language of medieval stonemasons steeped in operative traditions, remains a matter of debate. What is clear, however, is that Rosslyn Chapel stands as one of the richest troves of proto-Masonic iconography in the world, a testament to the enduring power of sacred geometry and secret societies. Modern investigations. Science meets legend. In the 21st century, the intersection of advanced technology and passionate inquiry has brought new scrutiny to Rosslyn Chapel. Universities and independent researchers have employed laser scanning to create detailed 3D models of every carving, allowing scholars to measure tool marks, chisel depths, and carving sequences with unprecedented precision. Chemical analyses of the sandstone reveal subtle traces of pigments, supporting historical accounts that the chapel was once vividly painted rather than the bare stone we see today. Ground-penetrating radar surveys conducted in 2016 detected underground anomalies west of the main structure, reigniting rumors of lost Templar vaults and prompting a limited archaeological dig. Though permissions from the Sinclair Trust and Historic Environment Scotland have so far prevented full-scale excavation. Meanwhile, historians have scoured medieval records in Paris, London, and Edinburgh for references to Sinclair patronage of exiled Templars, uncovering letters that hint at secret meetings and coded communications between Scottish nobles and continental church officials. Though no smoking gun document has yet surfaced to definitively link Rosslyn with recovered Templar treasures, the mounting layers of evidence, from chisel marks to archival fragments, paint a picture of a site where legend and history remain inextricably entwined. Cultural impact. From Dan Brown to today. The release of Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code in 2003 propelled Rosslyn Chapel onto the global stage, transforming a relatively obscure Scottish landmark into a household name. Brown's fictional narrative placed the chapel at the heart of a millennia-spanning conspiracy, suggesting that its carvings hid clues to the Grail lineage of Jesus Christ. Tourism numbers soared, and for the first time, Rosslyn felt the unrelenting pressure of popular fascination. Local businesses rebranded with Templar themes, guided tours doubled, and the Sinclair Trust embraced the chapel's new role as a destination for mystery pilgrims. Yet this modern fame has come at a cost. Conservation efforts struggled to balance the erosive effects of thousands of visitors with the need to preserve fragile carvings, and some scholars lament that sensationalism has overshadowed rigorous academic study. In response, Historic Environment Scotland launched the Rosslyn Revealed project in 2017, seeking to document and conserve every carving, while also commissioning educational programs to present a balanced view of the chapel's history. Today, Rosslyn stands not only as an artifact of medieval ingenuity but also as a cultural icon, its stones layered with the meanings we assign to them, whether scholarly, spiritual, or simply sensational. As we conclude this odyssey into the hidden secrets of Rosslyn Chapel, one truth emerges above all others. The chapel endures not because its mysteries can be fully decoded, but because it continually invites us back into the act of seeking. Whether you come as a historian, a skeptic, a believer in the Grail, or a lover of art and architecture, Rosslyn holds a mirror to your deepest longings, to unravel conspiracies, to connect with the past, to glimpse the transcendent. Its carvings are neither mere decoration nor opaque puzzles but living symbols that shift meaning as our own perspectives evolve. In Rosslyn's silent halls, the stones speak. They tell of a patron who dared to blend faith with secrecy, of masons whose chisels traced the language of nature and spirit, of pilgrims who believed the divine could be found in leaf and cubed note, and of modern seekers who continue the quest for truth beneath the chapel's vaulted dome. If this exploration has ignited your curiosity, make sure to subscribe to History Facts and Mysteries for more deep dives into the world's greatest enigmas. Like this video if you've enjoyed uncovering the Templar echoes and alchemical visions encoded in Rosslyn's walls, and share your theories in the comments, because with Rosslyn Chapel, the story never truly ends. Journey with us again soon, and together we'll continue to unearth the lost secrets of history.